My dad used to tell me, when I was a kid, that the Appalachian Mountains are full of mystery and a lot of beautiful things. And a lot of things that we can't explain. And he always used to tell me, no need to go looking for it, because at some point in your life, it'll probably find you.
Ring around the rosy, pocket full of posies. Ashes, ashes, we all fall down. We all fall down. We all fall down.
Well, that's a fitting piece of advice. They'll find you. I mean, think about it. How many times do you watch these TV shows on, well, let's say Bigfoot? And how many times do they actually find Bigfoot? No, they don't. They don't find Bigfoot. Bigfoot finds them. I suppose the same could be said about hauntings, or haunted objects and things. You don't necessarily find them, maybe they find you. I mean, think about it. The Lutz, well, they found Amityville, and whatever was in that found them. Now, of course, an argument can be made that after the DeFeos did or went through what they went through, that it was there waiting on anybody who would just come in. This is kind of the case with her, Stacia Underwood Gullett, the founder of 606 Paranormal and someone I've known for years. She had her first experience when she was only 4 years old. Years later, they would come to her. The haunted dolls. Such is the case with Charles.
Welcome to the Darkest Stories. I'm Stacia, founder of 606 Paranormal's Haunted Doll Tour. and co-host of the gatherings. Tonight's episode number 1 is about Charles the doll. I know many of you have seen him on our show. He just happens to be one of my favorites. And here's his story. Charles the doll came from a small town in southern Kentucky, where he was beloved by a boy named Henry. Every time that you see Henry outside playing, or out on his bike riding through the neighborhood, Charles was always by his side. And as Henry grew up, he decided that he wanted to open a 5-and-dime store, quite like the one his grandfather had. This is where Charles came from originally. He was a gift. So he decided to make that store right on his property, and he worked hard, and he did it. And this is where he would proudly display Charles right on the front counter for many, many years. Each morning, he'd bring the doll to work, and each evening, he'd bring the doll back home and put him in his special chair. He'd built him a special chair that was just for Charles. Even though Henry was married by now and had a daughter, Estelle, he never forgot about little Charles. He claimed that Charles seemed very real to him, and he even kept a journal about their adventures and how he would visit Henry in his dreams. Henry's daughter was not quite so fond of Charles. Matter of fact, she was petrified of the doll. She swears that she'd seen him several times run down the hallway, and in certain times he would stop just before he got to her door and peek his head around to have a look at her and scare her to death. She said that his tricks got so terrifying she couldn't take it anymore, and she went to Henry. He would of course comfort her and tell her that it was just a bad dream, but Henry knew very well that it was no dream. Estelle began to have worse dreams, and she woke up one night screaming. When Henry got to her, she said Charles had a darning needle, and he was sitting in my bed, repeatedly stabbing my arm. Henry looked at her arm, and he was in shock. He had had enough, and he knew exactly what needed to be done. Even though he loved this doll and had many childhood memories, he just couldn't take any more chances of his daughter being harmed. He thought, is Charles jealous? What could this be? He told his daughter right then and there, he will never bother you again. I'll put him away for good. He hugged her and comforted her. And then he got up and he went out to the barn to get a trunk with an old padlock to lock Charles away for good. He came back in and he searched everywhere for Charles, but the doll was nowhere to be found in the house. Could he have heard me and possibly be hiding? Henry thought. Well, that's exactly what the doll did. He was never to be found. Several years then passed by. Estelle had gotten married, and she'd moved out of the place. Soon after that, Henry began hearing little footsteps running all through his bedroom. Then he'd hear a giggle. He thought, oh no. He would later tell Estelle that Charles is back, and I think I've heard him running behind the walls in my bedroom, and then laughing at me, because he knew he'd scared me so bad. He's mad at me, no doubt. Estelle helped Henry search the house again, but nothing. Sadly, about a week later, Henry was found lying in his kitchen floor, where he had passed away of a heart attack. And guess who was lying on the floor with him, with his little hand attached upwards to Henry's throat? None other than Charles the doll. Estelle decided to put him in the locked trunk that Henry had made for him. And that's when she called me. And this is how Charles the doll came to be a resident here at 606 Paranormal, in our haunted doll room.
Whether he likes it or not, he's become somewhat famous for his reactions to these dolls. Lloyd, or Scared Lloyd Gullett.
Dolls. I hate them real bad. I think they need to be in the walls because they're making me so sad. I want to put them out on the porch. I want to stomp them in the head. I want to stick them under my daughter's bed. Anywhere but in my head.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Oh, what? No, nope, 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 nope. What? No, 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 no.
Okay. Tell me what you think of the dolls.
I don't like them.
How come?
Well, one, they are unpredictable, scary a little bit. They have been, I've seen them move, jump off shelves, turn their heads, eyes blink. It's unnerving a little bit.
Which one do you like the least?
Agony.
Have you always had this fear of dolls?
Not really, because I never even thought of dolls being haunted until we had to pick them up, and then things happen and hear things and see things move in the house and all that. So it's just but no, not until 606 or till I got married.
What's the worst experience that you've ever had personally with the dolls?
Don't hold back. Go ahead and tell them.
Well, I mean, there's a lot. I mean, with doing shows, and then you're sitting there, you know, and one goes.
Mm-hmm.
I guess the one time, when we were doing the show, I actually ended up getting up and leaving the whole
I remember that
thing because it just jumped out or did something, and I was like, I'm done.
And didn't one of them, or maybe more than one, cost you 2 vehicles?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Stacy told me not to say something at the doll show to one of them, which would have been Agni. And I did. I said something like, I called her crap knee or something. And she goes, you know what's going to happen. And I'm like, whatever. And then I walk outside to the car and it died. And when I say died, I mean like $2,000 died. And that was the end of that car. And then even on the ride back with the car, I was riding back with the tow truck driver, and the car's at the back on the flatbed, and stupid stuff started happening in the truck, and he almost kicked me out of the truck. He said, "I'm done." He said, "You've got to stop talking about this." And I'm like, "I can't help it. It's in the back of the truck, back of the car." He's like, "You're freaking me out." I was like, "I can't help it." So I'm just Agony. You know, it was just. And since then, Prius, Jeep, Durangos, all of them, something happened. And
something that you can't explain.
Something that I cannot explain, and it's kept happening because of them. So they're real cool.
And then there's their beautiful daughter, Destiny. Well, like her dad, she keeps a distance.
Hey, Des. So you want to tell us why that you don't like Charles?
Yes, it's because I've seen his arm move, his leg move, and most of the time his eyes, and that's why I never go around him or the Haunted Doll Museum.
I understand that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just like your dad, huh?
Yeah.
So, Caden, tell us about, well, some of your experiences since I've had Charles.
Well, I've had a few bad experiences. I remember one time I was carrying him and he hit the back of my neck with his hand. Other times I've felt cold sensations whenever I'm around him, like chills up and down my arms. I mean, I've got headaches from him, just different types of stuff like that. And I've had really bad dreams about him a couple of times. He's been in my dreams, just in the background, just looking at me. Always feels like he's watching me whenever he's out of wherever, but I've just had stuff like that.
What about, I know that you've had to help me in a few of the doll tours and help me carrying them in and out. And of course, you know they're blessed, but I remember that you had a couple bad experiences. One was when he had touched your neck. You already talked about that one.
Yeah.
And then the last one, I think we saw his head move, all of us at the same time.
Yeah. He looked over. Yeah, his head kind of did a little.
You just, yeah.
Yeah, turned a little bit.
You never really know what you're going to get with some of the dolls, but with Charles, it's always something, huh?
Yeah, always.
Well, I guess some people find comfort and happiness in them. Some find every nightmare that they ever had. And yet others don't even think about it until something happens to them that they simply cannot explain. Whatever the experience may be, I do know that this road is just getting started, and we've got a way to go. So we hope that you'll come along on this ride with us, but if you do, you may want to buckle up.
Charles, are you here with us? What?